Hello, friends. Welcome to another Stamp with Me Tuesday. Tonight, we are going to make a really fun card using a really cool technique, which is the Pointillism technique. And this is a style of art that's been around for a really long time. But I'm going to take it and move it into card making. And I think it turns out so cute. Just kind of a fun way, a different way to do some coloring. So welcome to everyone who is here and joining me this evening. If you're here live, leave me a comment. Let me know if you're watching live. Let me know if you have tried Pointillism with your card making before. If you're watching the replay, special welcome to you as well. And I want to know if you have tried Pointillism before as well. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Heidi with Onigo Stamping. I'm going to help you reconnect with your inner artist by using stamps, ink, and paper to make beautiful handmade cards and gifts just like this one. We're going to take wow and make it easy. So hello, Debbie and Lisa. I'm so glad you guys are here. All right, I'm going to make my workspace look just a little bit bigger so that we can get started. There we go. And here is the stamp set that I am going to be using tonight. This is the Festive Friends stamp set. And I think it is so cute. I just think it's adorable. I love these little, I don't know, they're like little chubby figures. I mean, it's Santa. He's supposed to be chubby, right? So this is the stamp set I'm using. We're also going to be using this for the October online card class. So I hope, or not October, November. I don't even know what month it is anymore. This fall has been going way too quickly. The November online card class. So I hope that you'll come back in a few weeks and join me for that. And don't forget, you still have a little bit of time left to earn a free make and take kit for that class. All you have to do is order at least $100 in Stampin' Up product through me in the month of October, and I will send you the make and take kit for this class automatically, that class that's coming up in November. All right, I've already put my stamps on my cardstock. I'm actually going to start. We're not going to start with the technique. I'm going to start with something else first so that it has time to dry, because I'm going to stamp with white ink. And pull my light down a little bit, see if I can get it a little bit brighter. I'm going to start with white ink, and I'm going to stamp some snowflakes all over this. Now, normally when you get the white ink pad, I'm going to show you this. I have an old one. It comes uninked. The new one looks like this. It comes uninked, and it comes with a re-inker, and you fill it yourself because I think it's because it's a thicker ink. It tends to kind of dry out quicker and things. And so I don't know. I don't know exactly why it comes uninked when none of the rest of our ink pads come uninked. But that's how it comes. So, but because of that, I'm going to show you a little trick that I have done when we go to stamp our snowman with an uninked ink pad. All right, so I'm just stamping this all over with some white snowflakes. I just love how these look on the blue. They're just kind of, they're subtle. They're not terribly bright white. If you want to get a really bright white, you really do need to emboss. A white ink pad isn't going to give you that same super bright white ink. It's going to give you a more muted white, which is what you can see here. So if you're looking for a bright white, you want to emboss it with white. But if you're just looking kind of for like a background with a white ink works really well for that. I'm going to stamp this. Actually, I'm just going to leave this. We're going to cover that part up. So I'm just going to leave it. But it does take a little bit longer to dry because it is a thicker ink. Let me see if I can hold that up. I can't get the lights to do a very good job this evening. Anyway, so there we go. I'm going to set this aside to dry because it is a little bit thicker ink. It takes a little bit longer to dry. I'm put that ink pad away. Now I showed you this ink pad, which looks like it's a white ink pad. It says it's white, but I have actually filled it with Memento ink. So when I open this up, it's actually black inside, because I took my Memento re-inker and I put it in here. Because if you know the Memento ink pad, and let me get mine out to show you, the Memento ink pad is it's hard, okay? It is a felt ink pad, and so it's kind of hard. It's not like juicy like our other ink pads. And sometimes I just kind of like to have a juicier, thicker line, and so I put some black ink in here to give it a try. And it just takes a little bit to kind of like fill it up, and I let it sit overnight and soak in and all that kind of good stuff. So there is my snowman. I have stamped him on a piece of white. This is, I think, 3 inches by 3.5 inches. And now I'm going to grab my Stampin' Blends. I'm going to start with some Pool Party. We're going to start with Pool Party. And I'm going to start with the lighter of the two. Let me see if I can pull this down just a little bit so you can watch me do this. Let's see if I can do this without messing it up too much. There we go. So I'm going to start with the lighter of the two. And then I'm just going to make dots around the outside because this is me just trying to give some background to it. And I want to get the dots closer together next to the line of the image, and then kind of farther out as I go. And I kind of move in circles. I don't want to get the dots too uniform. I want them to be kind of, I want them to be, what's the word? I can't think of the word right now. Anyway, not uniform, right? I want them to be random. And I'm just going to, keep going over closest to the line and then kind of come out and add some further away. The closer the dots are together, the darker the color will be. The further apart they are, the lighter the color will be. And I'm just going to go all the way around the outside of my little snowman. This does take a minute to do. I'm not going to lie. It probably takes longer than real coloring, but it gives it a different look. And it's kind of fun. It's kind of just like relaxing to sit here and just dot. Just make little dots all over. So we're going to keep going, and we can chit chat while I dot this whole thing. So tell me what you've been up to, and somebody tell me where the month of October went to, because I am not sure. Can you believe October is almost over? Unbelievable. And you know what that means? Because October is almost over, it also means that Stampin' Up's Join Special, random, yes, Debbie, that was the word I was looking for. Stampin' Up's Join Special is almost over as well. They are having an amazing deal for the month of October. And honestly, if you're going to purchase Stampin' Up in October, you should just join. Like, there's no reason not to, because you get to pick $125 worth of product and only spend $35, and you get free shipping. I mean, it's just like, it's a no-brainer. Like, it's just a really great deal. So if you haven't grabbed that yet, I highly recommend it. And all of my new downline who join in October are also getting my November online card class. They're getting the make and take kit for that, just like my customers who purchase at least $100 do. So you won't miss out on anything from me. All right, I've done. You lost your label that you stamped and you lost your bone folder. Oh no, Lisa, that's not good. All right, so I've stamped those light colored, the light colored ones. Now I'm going to take the darker of the Pool Party, and I'm going to come in. I'm not going to do it quite as heavy, but I am going to add, and still putting more dots closer to the line and fewer dots farther out, and still kind of working, kind of moving in circles to keep my random dots going. Because I find if I go dot, dot, dot in a line, I tend to make them fairly uniform. So by kind of moving in circles, I'm able to keep them less uniform, more random. So we'll just keep going all the way around here and adding in those little dots. And I love the way the Pool Party just helps the snowman pop off. I would do this even if I was coloring. I always like to color around my snowmen or anything white with a little bit of Pool Party or gray granite, because it just helps it pop off the page a little bit. also going to add in some more over here. I don't know. Maybe I'll regret this decision. But I kind of added some, like the ground keeps going. All right, so now I have colored around. Yeah, so it kind of gives it a shadow effect. I've colored around my little snowman. Now I'm going to color his hat and his scarf. And I'm going to start by doing some with Pretty in Pink. And again, I'm going to start with my light Pretty in Pink Stampin' Blend. And I'm going to use the bullet tip. And I'm going to dot. And now I'm going to make it, I'm going to dot more in the areas that I would normally shade. So on the edges here, so still close to the line, but then also closer on the edges where it goes around his head. We'll make that a little bit darker too. I'll put my dots closer together in those areas as well. So with the light Pretty in Pink, Pretty in Pink works so well with the pool party. They both have kind of a coolish vibe to them. And you can come back in and go over areas if you want them to get darker, add more dots. So we did that. I'm going to do some more stripes on his little hat here. So, and again, putting them closer together on the edges where it's curved over and less close together in the center. So going all the way around, did his whole little hat. We're gonna come back and do the other stripes in a different color. But I'm doing all my Pretty in Pink right now. So adding all that in, getting in my little scarf here. Now I'll come back with the dark Pretty in Pink and we'll add some more. So again, just adding in that darker Pretty in Pink just to give it a little bit of shading. And it's kind of fun how the colors like work together. One of my sample cards, I'll show you in a minute, I actually did some pumpkins. And for those, I made the pumpkins orange, but then I added just a little bit of yellow in the dots too. And it just kind of gave it a little bit of extra color. All right, so all of those, do his scarf too. Get him in here. He is coming together. All right, so we did the pink parts of his little hat with all those little dots. And now I'm going to grab my, let me see, I want Lost Lagoon. I hope this is the color I used. Lost Lagoon, I'm going to start with light, and I'm going to do his other stripes in Lost Lagoon, which look a little bit like Pool Party, but they're not. And just dotting this all in. Sometimes I'll go in and kind of do like a loose dot first and then go back over the parts where I want it to be more dotted. So dot, dot, dot. We'll do that part, and then we'll come up here, do another stripe. And this little stripe. And then I'm going to come in with the dark Lost Lagoon as well. So, and then we'll just have to do his little nose. And again, more dots on the edges, fewer dots in the centers, just to give it shading. There we go. All right, I'm going to grab my light. Actually, I'm just going to go straight to dark pumpkin pie, and I'm just going to dot his nose with some dark pumpkin pie. There we go. All right, that's all we need to do. There's our little snowman. Isn't he adorable? He's so cute. So cute. All right, let's finish the rest of the card. I have some pieces of Pretty in Pink, and I want to start by embossing this with the Forever Plaid embossing folder. I have showed this before. It has been a while, but yes, I have showed this before. But I was looking and I was like, I think this has been, I think this has been a couple years. So I'm going to emboss this pretty in pink piece with my Forever Plaid embossing folder, which is nice and big. So we need our number 1 plate. And then because it's a 3D embossing folder, it just goes on straight on top of the number 1 plate. And then we need to grab the number 4 plate, which is the gray plate. Or if you've been around a while, you might have a blue specialty plate. And those are for using with the 3D embossing folders. So slide that through. These aside. There's our nice embossed piece of pretty in pink. Now I have, let me see, let's come in. We'll do this piece. We have our piece of Pool Party that we stamped with white ink. And I'm going to add a piece of pretty in pink to this. I'm going to just use my green glue on it. Now, when I have an embossed piece, I put a little bit more green glue on it than I normally do, just because it has, you know, divots and stuff. There's parts that aren't gonna stick on. So I'm just going to lay that on there. And then I'm going to come in with some white ribbon. And I am not even sure what white ribbon this is. On my original card, I used the Misty Moonlight and white starter pack ribbon, but I ran out of white. So I found this white ribbon in here. And I think it must have been part of another pack because it doesn't have a name besides ribbon. So I have no idea what ribbon it is, but I was like, well, it is white. It seems like I can tie it in a bow. We're going to go with it. So it might even be retired. I have no idea. Sometimes things just do that. All right. So we're going to put this on here and just tie it in a nice little bow. There we go. Fabulous. And I'm going to trim off the ends. Debbie, you haven't seen this before? Something new to try. Super fun. All right. My ribbon wants to twist a little bit, but that's okay. We'll just put something over it. It doesn't matter. I'm going to put this on my card front with Stampin' Dimensionals. And I think I forgot to pull out a new pack of Stampin' Dimensionals. So we're going to use little itty bitty teeny tiny mini dimensionals. So we're going to put more on because they're little. They're itty bitties. Which means there's going to be a lot of backs to take off. I might have to get out my take your pick tool. Actually, let's fold my cardstock in half first. So this is just a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. The piece on top of this is just 4 inches by 5 1/4. Really standard layering. And I'm just going to come in with my take your pick tool and pop those backs off. Now, if you try this, it is kind of like a scoopy motion and not just like straight up and down. Very easy to do. And this goes on my card front. Just like that. I don't think I put that in the center, but close enough. And then we're going to put my snowman on a piece of pretty in pink. And this snowman was 3 by 3 1/2. And so the pretty in pink is 3 1/8 by 3 5/8. I just did a bitty border on that one. And this is going to go on with dimensionals as well. So we'll put a bunch of these on here too. Itty bitty dimensionals. And then pop those backs off, and then we'll be done. Now, I have 2 more samples to show you using this technique. It's so much fun. Some different ways to do it. You just put a piece of ribbon in my I love the colors dog hairs. It won't last. Okay. All right, there we go. There is our card. Isn't that cute? So cute. And he's just all colored with and I think it's like snow on there. I just think it's so fun. All right, let me show you my other cards. This card, I used the paper tags stamp set. And for this one, I stamped, why is the light? I just can't get the light right tonight. I stamped the border for, what do I want to say? Like normally you could cut this out, but I stamped it. And then I did my dotting around the outside of it to kind of just help it pop instead of cutting it out, just to kind of like color around the outside. And then inside it says, consider this a paper hug. And I use the new brushed, I think it's Brushed Beauty Designer Series paper on this. So super fun, super pretty. And then I have one with my 3 little pumpkins. This one I used the Choose Happy stamp set, and I stamped my 3 pumpkins. Now this one I just colored on the inside. And this is where I used the pumpkin pie, and I put just a little bit of, what is it, Darling Duckling in there as well. And I think it just gives it a little bit extra oomph. The background I stamped with the stripes and dots stamp, and I stamped it in pumpkin pie, and I stamped it on vellum. When you stamp on vellum, it takes a really, really, really long time for ink to dry. So I just dumped some clear embossing powder on there and embossed it. So it's got a fun raised bumpiness to it. And I think the dots like mimic the dots. I use the new 3 banners. Oh my goodness, you guys, this punch is amazing. I've been using it so much. Like you can see my camera, there's me. But it punches out 3 little banners and it has the coordinating stamp set and it's amazing. And it's coming in November. But if you join Stampin' Up this month, you could put it in your starter kit too. So there we go. There is my fun little Hello Autumn stamp, or my Hello Autumn card. 3 different cards using this fun pointillism technique. I hope that you will give it a try. I'm going to go post a photo of these cards over in my Facebook page. And I hope that you'll come over there. And if you give this technique a try, that you will drop a picture of your card in the comments so that we can see it. We can see all different, examples of how this comes together. So, all right, maybe yours won't be a mess, Kobe. I hope so. I hope it works. I can't wait to see what you guys make because I know that they will be amazing. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I will be back next week, Tuesday. If you missed it, by the way, I dropped a new video last week, and it's a little bit different. So I go live every week, Tuesday, but I decided to pop in and just do like a pre-recorded video a randomly pre-recorded video. And I shared how to make a card using the Love Encourage stamp set. So if you didn't see that, go check it out because it was super fun. And I kind of just like threw it up there, just out of the blue. So but I will be back next week, Tuesday, with another Stamp With Me Tuesday. We're going to do a card sketch, a card template next week. So I can't wait. It'll be super fun. I will see you then. Have a great rest of your week.